Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir. This is your digital classroom. How did your English literature paper go today? Well, the initial reactions are that the paper was easy and most of the students have done excellent. So this is the answer key video, but let me also tell this for the benefit of those. There were a couple of people who had said, please don't put out the answer key, demotivates us, and we are not able to prepare for the next examination. In fact, a similar request had come after the ICSE class 12 English language paper, as a result of which I did not do the answer key video for the English literature paper for class 12. My request to you is that if you think it demotivates you, please don't see this video, right? But for the benefit of so many students who would want the answer key, this video is being put out. I hope you don't mind. So let's get started with the MCQs. Now, very amusing that 8 of the 16 MCQs were questions which were part of our test papers, which we had put out on SWS, also the SWS Natu Natu series. Let's get started. What was the blue bead? A piece of perforated glass, a round blue pebble, a blue marble, or a blue river rock. Very clearly in the text, the author has said it was a glass piece and it was perforated. So option A. In H.C. Andersen's story, what forces the little match girl to go about selling matches on the street? Poverty, greed, weather, or desire for wealth? Poverty. When Lustlong said something must be eating you, this was directly there, same words in our test series. Something must be eating you. He meant that Jesse Owens must be troubled by something. We will keep her a day or two longer. She's so weak and helpless. Who said these words and to whom? Now, if you have not read The Angel in Disguise very carefully, you could get confused. But the option here is B, Jane Thompson to her husband. And listen, what they have done very cleverly is that for students who do percentage study, in order to confuse them, they have put William to his fellow rocket children and little match girl also as the two options. So in case you are thinking that, are they talking about Margaret? Are they talking about Maggie? You could get confused, right? If you have not read the text carefully. So pretty clever and smart. I like it. What was the very first thing that the children noticed when it stopped raining on Venus, right? The silence, the sound apparatus is referred to in the text. Which of the following lines tells us that the poet Wordsworth carried a mental picture of the daffodils? They flash upon that inward eye. Yeah. Why, according to Maya Angelou, does the caged bird sing? Because to voice his protest. The line, house roofs seem to heave and sway, in Browning's poem The Patriot, means that this is the eighth one. Eighth one is B. The roofs were so crowded with people that they appeared to be heaving and swaying. Someone made a point that day that sir is looking at the answers. I write my answer so that I don't get confused, because when you're recording it live, you may say B instead of C, which is why it's always better to cross-check everything. It's an old habit to keep notes so that you convey the right information always. Identify the list in which above Ben Adams' name appeared right at the top. Option number C, those who were blessed by the love of God, right? That's what the final list which was brought by the angel said. What special human quality does the poem 9 Gold Medals celebrate? Empathy. 10th A. To whom does Portia compare Bassanio as he steps forward to take the casket? Option D, Hercules, which is referred to as Alcides in the text. Dash was Portia's faithful servant, Balthazar, right? Again, directly from the text. Why does Portia ask Shylock if he had arranged for a surgeon to be present at Antonio's trial? She wanted to make sure that Antonio would not bleed to death. 14th, according to Lorenzo, a man who is unmoved by music is not to be trusted. Okay. A Daniel come to judgment, a Daniel who is being described in these words by whom? So it is D, that is Portia by Shylock. Shylock in the initial stages of the trial in the court of justice, when he's feeling a little happy, he refers to as Portia or Balthazar as Daniel. Yeah. What reason does Portia give for refusing the Duke's invitation to dinner? This was an interesting question because you needed to remember, what did Portia actually say? That she had to return to Padua that night, because all said and done, she was seen as someone who had been sent by Dr. Bellario, right? So this is as far as the MCQs are concerned. Most of you seem to have got all the MCQs right, which is a big thing, getting 16 out of 16 in the MCQs. Let's just take a quick look at the extracts. The first one is from Act 3. So Act 3, one extract, and the second extract is from Act 4, the trial scene, right? So pretty simple. Again, explain in your own words a secret vow that Portia talks about. So, essentially trying to test how much you know the text, right? The story and the plot and the text. There was one interesting story question. All these MOV questions are pretty much straight. The stories are from Angel in Disguise. Okay. And in fact, we had discussed the last one in great detail. And it is important, whoever has attempted the last part, the Angel in Disguise question, I hope you have quoted extensively from the last paragraph of the story, right? Which of the three children? Obviously Maggie. And what does the term disguise refer to in the context of the story, given the fact that she was an injured child, her spine was injured, she was a bedridden child, and in that sense, she was not the typical cute looking baby who would move around, but someone who had to be taken care 24/7, right? And how does the child's arrival transform the home she enters? The Thompson household, about how he would be drinking the precious wine of joy every day, every night, and about how she had brought in the sunshine of love. So all those kind of keywords and key phrases you ought to have used in this particular answer for 4 marks. Okay. The second one is from All Summer in a Day. Pretty simple. Really nothing much to this thing. It was the central theme is about the fact that they were bullying Margaret for being a little different, for remembering the son, unlike the other children who did not have any memory of the son that she kind of disliked, and the fact that she would actually also go back. So there was this whole thing of bullying. That is what you needed to focus on as far as the central theme of the poem, of the story is concerned. Daffodils is the poem which has come. Pretty simple and straightforward. And the caged bird, right? One of the things, name any one group of people that you would call caged birds in today's world. Now, this can be seen with many options. So it depends entirely on the council. What kind of options do they say that this is acceptable and this is not acceptable? I would say someone like, say, the minorities in today's world, when in whichever part they are kind of dominated by the majority population. Or some students of mine have written things like Afghan girls, which is perfectly all right. Some people have written, from the depressed, from the lower caste, again, who are dominated by the upper caste in that particular geographical area. So minorities could mean, like, for instance, what used to happen in Sri Lanka, the Tamils were kind of seen to be dominated by the majority Sinhala population in Sri Lanka. So any of these kind of things would be seen as acceptable because they have said in today's world. So it could be an example taken from any part of the world. So interesting paper, pretty easy, at least as far as the MCQs are concerned. Even in the subjective questions, nothing which would really throw you, and be some kind of a googly. So I hope all of you have done pretty well. You now have a 2, 3, 4, 5 4-day gap between now and the history civics paper. We will continue to help you with the history civics paper with many more videos and test papers. So stay connected. And in case your biology revision is not complete, my advice to you would be, given the fact that you have just 1-day gap between the language paper, the Hindi paper, and biology. If you think your bio revision is not complete, I would suggest, and your history civics, you are on better ground, you're on strong ground, I would suggest that at least half a day or maybe a day you could actually devote to bio, in case if you would want to. That's just a piece of advice from me. Take it or leave it. Okay, टाटा बाय बाय, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आज थोड़ा रेस्ट करो, फिर रात से या कल सुबह से पढ़ना शुरू करो. ओके, बाय बाय.